Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today, for our number talk, we are dividing fractions. So we've got 1 3/4 divided by 1/2. Sometimes, if we want to visualize it like long division, that kind of helps us understand, all right, what is our whole or what is our total? Right? That's just another way of saying our dividend. And in this case, it is 1 3/4. Now, I can draw 1 3/4, but since I'm dividing by fractions, it'd really be helpful if that was an improper fraction. So I'm going to take my 1 and I'm just going to envision that as a whole, and that's just 4/4. And I chose 4/4 because look, my denominator is already 4. So 4/4 and 3/4, really, that's just 7/4. Sometimes some of you might have already learned the little trick. If you multiply the whole number by the denominator, 1 times 4 is 4, add the numerator, 3, that's your new numerator, and then your denominator stays the same. Either way, I've got 7/4. So I'm going to envision this as fractions of a set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of draw that little squiggly line here. And I'm going to draw fourths. And I've got 7/4, or I've got one whole. So this top part is going to represent, all right, all 4/4 are already shaded in. And then down here, I've got 3/4. So there's my 7/4, or 1 3/4. Now, I need to divide that by 1/2. 1/2 represents my divisor. That's the number you're dividing by. You can see that right here. So what I want to do is I want to cut each of these fourths that I've got. There's 7 total. I'm just going to cut them in half. Just a little drawing like this. And if you want, you can do a little cross-hatching to help them stand out. And really, now what we're going to do is we are simply going to count. How many halves do we have? Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So, how many half pieces do I have out of those 7/4? 14. Now, how many pieces are we dealing with? What is our denominator? Well, even though it looks like we've got 8, remember, we're dealing with fourths, right? There's groups of 4. So we're going to need to keep that as 4. And then we think, okay, so we can simplify that, right? We need to divide both of those by 2. And what are we going to get? Well, we're going to get 7/2. Okay, now what's another way to visualize that? Well, keeping this 7/4 idea right here, most of us know that if we divide by 1/2, that's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal or multiplying by 2. The reciprocal is any number you can multiply by another number fraction to get back to 1. The easiest way to do it is to flip it upside down. So what's the reciprocal of 1/2? Flip it upside down, you get 2/1. Because then what ends up happening is you get the same numerator and denominator, which simplifies down to 1. So if I want to divide by half, I could just multiply by 2. So what is 7/4? Instead of dividing by half, multiplied by 2? You get the same thing. You're going to get 14/4, which reduces down to 7/2.